FITURE is an interactive fitness mirror, and the biggest selling point of this machine is the motion engine technology, which is supposed to kind of be like a personal trainer living inside of your mirror. First up, we have a 1-minute plank. I can see you. It's supposed to count your reps, give you form feedback, give you encouragement, tell you little tips and tricks, and let's just say I have some mixed feelings about the whole thing. So I have a lot to say and honestly some pet peeves about this motion engine technology. But before we get into my thoughts on that, let me give you a background on the FITURE. I've been trying this thing out for a little over a month, and let's get into it. Delivery is included, and I have to say it was very easy. 2 delivery drivers came to my apartment. They put the box exactly where I wanted it. I didn't have to worry about carrying it upstairs or anything like that. Now, full disclosure, FITURE did send me this machine to try out. However, this is not a sponsored video whatsoever. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not even keeping the machine. I do have to send it back to them after I try it out for a few months. However, I do have an affiliate link. I'll put that down in the description box. So yeah, let's continue. The only little mishap, shall we say, about the delivery is I believe that they were supposed to set it up, but they ended up just not doing that. They just took the box, put it where I wanted it, and like left in literally 10 seconds. And I wasn't really sure what to do, so I just decided to set it up myself. The delivery company actually called me the next day and apologized and asked if they wanted the delivery drivers to come back and set it up for me. But I figured the setup process probably wouldn't be that hard to do myself, so I just went ahead and did it on my own, and it really was not that hard at all. Really, all that's involved in the setup process is literally just taking it out of the box and plugging it in. That's pretty much all you have to do. Plus, they also give you instructions for either mounting it to the wall or attaching it to the wall to ensure it doesn't fall over, which you're definitely going to want to pay attention to make sure that you are using it safely. And then there's a few other small setup pieces in terms of getting the app set up, getting your account set up, but all of that is pretty standard stuff. No surprises there. And the whole thing was really quick, even with me setting the whole thing up myself. Now, the FITURE is not cheap. It's about $1,500. That being said, this is pretty much the same price as other fitness mirrors on the market. So, this is basically the price that you have to pay if you want one of these things. However, the $1,500 does cover free delivery and setup, as well as this like fit kit, which includes a water bottle, heart rate monitor, some resistance bands, and little accessories and stuff like that. And the other thing to keep in mind that I definitely want to point out, because so many people in my comments have told me for various devices that they just did not realize that there is an ongoing membership cost. And this is also true with the FITURE. So I definitely want to make sure you do not miss this, that there is a $39 monthly membership fee that you basically need to pay for to really access any of the features with this device. Really, the only thing you're gonna be able to do without the membership is just admire yourself in the mirror, and that's about it. However, the nice thing is you can put up to 6 people on the same account if you're sharing the same device, and you can cancel or pause the membership at any time. So there is some flexibility there, but definitely keep that in mind. In terms of the physical machine itself, I'll put the dimensions on the screen. It does come in 5 different colors, which is kind of cool. Personally, I got the Stardust, which is this beautiful silver color here. And I have to say, the actual device is beautiful. I've tried a lot of fitness equipment before. This is the only one that I've ever felt like I can put in my living room because I actually like how it looks. Pretty much everything else I hide away in my office or my bedroom, but this one I do like having on display. Now, in terms of the physical structure of the device, there's really not much more to say because there's really not much that you actually do on the device. Like, there's not many buttons, there's not even a touch screen, so you don't really like interact with the physical machine all that much. Pretty much everything is done using the app. In terms of like selecting which class you want and everything, that is all done through the app. It's not done for the most part through the machine. There are like some little ways that you can choose classes with the FITURE device itself. Like after a class, it'll prompt you to raise your hand if you want to go on to this next class that it is prompting for you. That being said, there are a few buttons and things. There's volume buttons on the side as well as a power button. And then they also give you this little like sensor cover thing. If you don't want to use any of the interactive elements, then you can actually put this on the device and it's just like a little magnet and it does cover the sensor. But other than that, that's basically the device. The FITURE is not a touchscreen, so you'll have to access the classes and your stats and everything through the app. To be honest, this is probably for the best because this is a mirror, so if you were touching it all the time, it would probably get dirty and like smudged really easily. And then also on the app, you can access your class history and the stats and your profile and all of that kind of thing. I felt like the structure of the app I felt was pretty standard, nothing too interesting to report there, but they do have a lot of different types of classes available. So the main categories of classes they have are HIIT, strength, bar, boxing, yoga, Pilates, cardio, sculpt, and strength. I tried to take a variety of classes throughout these different types of class types, and I really liked all of them. I thought the instructors were good. I think that they were really well organized. I really had no problem with any of the classes. They also have some really interesting features like this custom class feature where basically you select the type of workout, length, and intensity, and then they generate a class for you. I thought this was kind of interesting. I mean, to be honest, I think it's like slightly gimmicky because I felt like there were plenty of classes in the class library to pick from without doing this. And they also kind of limited you to only 2 types of workouts. So I don't know. I didn't get a ton of use out of that, but I thought it was kind of an interesting feature. They also have games, which I think is really, really cool, especially because you can't have multiple profiles on this device. So you can have your kids use it or something like that, or you can play the games yourself. And it seems like they are releasing a lot of these new features. Like, for example, some of the games were only available in the latest software update. So it seems like they are trying to release a lot of these new features all the time. They also have programs, which are collections of classes. This is pretty standard for most connected fitness devices. And they also have some challenges as well. So for example, they have the squat challenge where you have to hold a squat for a certain time period, and they had some stuff like that. So I liked the classes overall. I felt like the intensity and kind of the difficulty level was probably more towards like the easy to moderate level. Like none of the classes I took were like really, really challenging or anything like that. I'm sure they do have some more challenging ones on there. They do have a pretty big class library, but personally, I would say more moderate level. The one thing I will definitely note though about the classes is you likely will have to provide some of your own equipment. So in the Fit Kit, they give you some resistance bands and heart rate monitor and stuff like that. But in terms of some of the strength classes, they're going to want you to use weights, and that you will have to provide yourself. As far as I can tell, FITURE does not sell weights. So there are some additional expenses that you're going to have to invest in if you want to fully be able to use the classes. So definitely think about that and make sure that you budget in those other accessories if you're going to want to take those types of classes.
It looks weird, but the fact that it makes me look a little bit weird makes it a full body experience.
And now let's talk about the most unique feature of the FITURE, and that is the motion engine technology. And this is the first time I've ever used any fitness device that has this kind of technology included. The stuff I liked about it is it definitely added a whole nother layer of accountability to your workout, especially for me when I'm working out at home. It's easy to kind of slack a little bit, take a little extra break, like no one's really watching you. But with the FITURE, number one, you are watching yourself, and I feel like just looking at yourself in the mirror adds some accountability. And then you also have this motion engine technology that is sensing you through their sensor. I don't know exactly how it works, but the motion engine technology does a lot of different things. Some of the features that I noticed is they counted your reps. They'll also give you little like audible encouragement feedback that I thought was really cool. So for example, I had this boxing class and they had this feature where every time you did a punch, it would make this little sound. It was just like a little bit of encouragement that I thought was like a little nice touch. They also will give you form feedback as well. So if your form is really out of whack, it will sense you and be able to correct your form. However, my experience was not completely positive with the motion engine technology. I did have some pet peeves about the whole thing as well. So number one, it is really particular about your positioning. So a lot of times I would start out with my mat perpendicular to the mirror and I would be facing it, but then I would get form feedback that I had to be kind of facing the side and kind of parallel to the instructor on the screen. And sometimes it can be a little bit annoying to have to adjust your positioning specifically for this sensor. Also, they're kind of particular about how far away you have to be from the machine. You can't be too close, you can't be too far. The problem that I had with it is I did find myself sometimes having to like take little pauses from the workout because I would have to readjust myself and take some time to do that. And it did take a little bit of time out of my workout. Probably get used to this over time. But for me, especially just getting started, I did kind of find that a bit annoying. The other thing is it is not available for all classes. So when I first got the FITURE, I did a handful of classes and none of them had motion and technology. I thought there was literally something wrong with my machine, to the point that I contacted customer service and I was like, hey, what's going on? And shortly after I emailed them, I actually realized for myself what the problem was. And that is that this technology is just not available for a good portion of the classes. And I found in general, it tended to be available for strength classes or more of the like high intensity classes. And then some of the like bar, Pilates, stretching, those were the ones that I were kind of like hit or miss. More of those did not have the motion and technology. So definitely keep that in mind if this is a feature that is really, really important to you. After trying out the FITURE, I think I would recommend this to someone who wants to invest in their home gym. You want to invest in something that will help you stay more accountable to working out, and you want to be able to work out at home. However, you want something that's going to be aesthetically pleasing, that you can show off as part of your furniture, and is not going to be some like giant piece of equipment that is an eyesore. I think this is also good if you want the accountability of the motion detection, where it's going to count your reps, give you form feedback. You can have like a really gamified experience with like earning points and stuff like that. If that all sounds appealing to you, I think the FITURE could be a really good fit for you. That being said, I think the biggest downside of this thing is at the end of the day, you're not actually buying a piece of exercise equipment, you are buying a mirror that is displaying classes. And so if you at any point want to cancel the membership, you pretty much lose all of the fitness benefits of this machine. You're really just getting a mirror at that point, and it is a nice mirror, but that's probably not why you're buying it. Also, you have to think about the fact that if you do buy this, you're still going to have to buy a lot of other accessory equipment. You're gonna have to get a mat, weights, other types of like actual workout equipment. So this is probably not the only like fitness device you're going to have to spend money on if you do want to build out your home gym, even if you're using the FITURE as kind of like your main star of the show. So, you know, just keep that in mind. I think this is a really beautiful device. It works, I think, pretty much as advertised. So I did like trying it out, but there's definitely some downsides to consider. So keep that all in mind. And if you're looking for something to watch next, I recommend my Bala review. I was using my Bala mat for a lot of this video. And if you want to know what I like, as well as some of my pet peeves about this mat, then check out that video next. And till next time, bye.